Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another MLB trade rumor video. This is a good one. This is by MLB.com. Of course, like I said in my last video, I went and searched trade proposals for 2023. It gave me 5 trade proposals. This is number 2. And this is arguably one of the biggest ones, I would say, if you're a Texas Rangers fan, especially because you already have a good team, now you're going to add to it. At least from what MLB.com is reporting, Pablo Lopez from the Miami Marlins is set or suggested in this trade for Dane Dunning and the number 12 prospect in the Rangers organization, Anthony Gutierrez. That is quite the trade, and I would say pretty lopsided, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you the Rangers side of things, then I'm going to give you the Marlins side of things, and then I will give you my overall thoughts at the end of this video. So, if you want to stick around for that, here we go. The Rangers are a good team, and they will be a good team once all of their pieces start to work together. Of course, last year, in 2022, they signed Marcus Semien, they signed Corey Seager. Those were massive, massive deals. They've thrown like $500 million or something like that at these guys. And then they continued to add to it this season. Jake Odorizzi, Andrew Heaney, they gave Martin Perez an extension, and oh, by the way, they went out and signed Jacob Degrom. Their team as a whole, I should say, is going to be stellar, again, if all of their pieces work together like they should, but now their pitching rotation is going to be, if not the best in baseball, at least in the AL, it's going to be right up there and can compete with anybody. I mean, Jacob Degrom, of course, is what, if not the best pitcher in all of MLB outside of maybe Justin Verlander, who's just traded to fill his spot. But now they want to add to it with another superstar, Pablo Lopez. They already had to compete with the Astros and the Mariners in the AL West, just because, obviously, you know, you've got a young Julio Rodriguez coming up with the Mariners. They're going to be good next year. The Astros are World Series champions. They had to do something, and it doesn't look like they're done. Does Pablo Lopez fit their system? I think so. I mean, you look at their pitching rotation right now. If you're the Rangers, absolutely you do this deal without a doubt. I mean, you snap your fingers and it's done, right? Jacob Degrom is going to be your ace. Martin Perez, who, again, had a qualifying offer this year for the next 2 years or something like that. He shined last year. I think he was really impressive and has shown that he can be a really good 2 or 3 pitcher. Then you've got guys like Jake Odorizzi who can fit into the starting rotation. Maybe he's going to be a 5 guy. Andrew Heaney has been pretty solid. Just hasn't been on a great team. And if you look at the MLB.com roster, they also have like Glenn Otto, Colin Reagans, Dane Dunning, who we'll talk about in a second, John Gray. They have, I think that's 8 starting pitchers in their rotation category on MLB.com. They need to do something. Now, switching 1-for-1 Pablo Lopez for Dane Dunning, does it make a lot of sense? I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out here, right? But they still will have 8 pitchers in their rotation slot. However, like I said, if you're the Rangers, you do this deal like this because Pablo Lopez, a 3-WAR pitcher, 10-10 on the season, but you're on the Marlins. I mean, that's asking a lot. A 3.75 ERA. He's no Sandy Alcantara, but he's a pretty darn good second. Pitched 180 innings, had about a strikeout per inning with 174, and a whip of 1.16. I mean, he's not a superstar like Jacob Degrom, like Justin Verlander, like Sandy Alcantara, but like, or Alcantara, sorry, I that was playing through my head. But he is really, really good. And he's only 26. Like, he is getting into the prime of his career. This is exactly the time when you want to go get him. And from the Marlins' perspective, it looked like they were going to be trading him before. Like, at the deadline, the Twins were in conversation. The Dodgers were in conversation to get Lopez at the deadline of 2022. So if you can get him now with an extra year of, you know, stats and maybe arbitration, I don't know exactly where Lopez fits into all of that, but you're looking at a solid pitcher who's in the prime of his career to now add to the rotation in the Rangers. I don't see how they don't win the AL West next year. But on the flip side of it, if you're the Marlins, do you want to accept this trade? Dane Dunning, who is, he is now 27 years old. He's only been in the league for 3 years. He was a first-round draft pick in 2016 from Florida. He was a big gas thrower. I mean, he threw like 101 with ease. He was really supposed to be a star, and I don't think he ever got there. And maybe that's just discrediting the Rangers and what they were able to do with him. He was on the White Sox as well for his first year. Came over, I think it was in the Lance Lynn. I don't want to say that because I don't remember. But he came over from the White Sox, and I don't think it was Lance Lynn. Anyway, that's escaping my mind. It doesn't really matter. The point is, he didn't really shine like he was supposed to in Texas. He went 4-8 last season with a 4.4 ERA. He started 29 games through 153 innings. I mean, like, these are good numbers, but they're not excellent, and I think that's what the Rangers are looking for right now, is they are looking for excellence, at least in their starting rotation. And when you've got guys like Degrom and Perez, probably going to be your 1-2, then you went out and got Heaney, and you got Odorizzi, that's going to be your, 4 and 5 probably, because you want to add somebody else like Lopez, who's probably going to be your 2 or 3. There you go. You don't have room for Dunning. Now, does it make sense for the Marlins? I don't think so. I think the Marlins would say no to this trade. It doesn't make sense, really, when you're looking at trading 1 for 1, right? You're getting a prospect, the 12th overall prospect in Anthony Gutierrez, but, like, what are you really gaining if you're the Marlins here? You're gaining another right-handed pitcher for right-handed pitcher. You're not even getting a lefty. I don't know if that matters or not, but pretty much 1-to-1. You're getting a really good fastball instead of a better slider, I think is probably how you would compare the two. With Lopez, more of the off-speed that really moves a lot, whereas Dane, you're getting a flamethrower. So for the Marlins, this just doesn't really make a lot of sense. I think if you are the Marlins, you're looking for more, right? You're looking for more than Dane Dunning. And I just don't see, like, yes, you're getting one outfield prospect and a flamethrower, but he's older. The prospect might not turn out. He's also number 12, like, not even a top 10 prospect. I feel like that's probably pushing the envelope a little bit too much. And again, if you are looking as the Marlins and you have a big name like Lopez where you could potentially hold on to him until the deadline of next year, like, that is where you're going to get more value, I think, than the offseason. There were already talks of him being traded last year. Those talks are not going to go away as long as he is still in the Marlins and still under a contract for, 1 or 2 more years. So it doesn't make sense to go after this type of trade value, I would say, when you are pretty much one of the best pitchers, or at least one of the highest sought-after pitchers at a trade deadline, right? Like, there are not a ton of free agents that are left, and maybe that's why I think there's more value in Lopez than Dunning. But really, Lopez is going to have value whether it was at the deadline last year, right now, or at the deadline next year, and I don't think a ton is going to change barring an injury. So if you're the Marlins, I think you say no, and that leads you, of course, to my thoughts where it doesn't really make sense at all for this trade. If you are the Marlins, again, if you're the Rangers, snap your fingers. Hopefully you can make it happen. But if I'm the Marlins have been known to not make the best trades, though, I would say, trading away Yelich and Stanton and literally everybody else, Romuto, like every superstar. But if you are the Marlins, I want value out of this. And we just talked about in the last video the value of Reynolds to the Yankees, and the Yankees were going to give up 4 top 20 prospects, including their best prospect in Jason Dominguez, and all that MLB.com is reporting that Pablo Lopez is worth is a 27-year-old flamethrower, again, who injury could bar out any moment, and a Rangers 12th prospect. I'm looking at least a top 5 prospect for Lopez in this current market. At least a top 5 prospect for Lopez, and maybe a top 10 to top 15, depending on what your needs are. And then, yeah, I guess throw in Dunning. I just don't think the value is there for what Lopez is worth. And I think that you can go out and expect more if you're the Marlins. But again, if you're the Rangers, where's the dotted line? Sign on it, and hopefully you can get it done. And they look like they'll be a good team next year. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. We got a couple more signing or trade rumors to go. It should be exciting.